It's second cutting in Michigan. And this is what we've got. A lot of grass and alfalfa and weeds. It's kind of a bad growth this year because of the weather. And I just don't know. Well, I do know. It's not really ready. It's been out here for 3 days and it has just been cloudy and it has just been not good drying weather. It's been real humid. It hasn't gotten very warm. And I've been raking with the John Deere side delivery rake, or what I call the roll rake. And it works pretty good to flip the windrows over. But this is what farming ends up being sometimes. Well, here we are again, another hay harvest. This is the last of the year, so we only got 2 cuttings this year, and this cutting is not going to be very many bales. I mean, it was real light. I ran 3 passes with this rake to make one of these windrows. So, you know, you think, look how far they are apart behind me there. Normally it's just 1 pass, and so it's a third of the first cutting harvest is basically what we're going to get here. So maybe 100 bales. You know, farming is all about these little decisions that you make. Every little decision has a chance of success and a chance of failure, no matter how much you plan and prepare, and even I would think no matter how much experience you have, although your decisions do get better with experience. But this is what it's become, you know, with hay season in particular. For us, this is the main crop that we grow, and it's the same with every livestock decision we make. But you know, it's all dependent on the weather, and Michigan is so weird because you could look at the weather, and like yesterday I looked at the weather forecast and it said there was a 0% chance of rain today, until there was a 10 or 20% chance, you know, in the evening. I wake up this morning, there's a 60% chance of rain at noon. And so that blows my day apart because I had planned on cutting hay all day today. And it's cloudy, it's humid, and it's not gonna dry. And so now we're stuck with a decision. It's gonna be raining tonight, it's gonna be raining all day tomorrow, it's gonna be raining all day the next day supposedly, and I gotta bale it. So here's what the long field looks like. And this is better hay out here, but it was just super short. So just trying to scrape up as much hay as we can get for the year. We've got a surprise coming next week. And this is pretty good, just grass hay. I mean, this isn't too bad over here. But it's not wet. It's just not dry. It's gonna be really good hay. See the green in here. I mean, it's okay if it's green. This hay has basically been cloud dried. It hasn't seen a sunny day in 3 or 4 days. In fact, this is the 4th day I think it's been out here, so it's unfortunate. Stuff like this, you know, what happens when you bale it like this, it's not 100% dry. It's almost there. If it had today and it was a nice sunny day today, it'd be perfect. But what happens is we'll bale this, and you know, as this stuff has moisture in it, it'll mold in the bales, and then you'll get dusty, moldy hay, which can make horses sick and other things like that. And so this hay, unfortunately, will be no good for us to sell, and it won't be really any good for us to feed to the horses. It's 9:30 in the morning, so I need to make some decisions. I could let it, maybe the chance of rain will blow by and it won't rain, and I try to bale it tonight. Maybe it rains this afternoon, and then it's gonna be really wet, and I'll have to rake it again and try to bale it later. And I've got a meeting at 5 o'clock today. I just think I gotta try to get it done before the rain comes. I think that's my only shot. And so that's my little decision for today. We'll see how it pans out. We're gonna get the baler hooked up here, I think, and just run it. We'll try some looser bales, and we'll just have to feed this stuff out first. I don't know. And this is kind of the most cherished piece of equipment on the farm, and so I try to take real good care of it. It gets stored out of the weather, and I should have blown all that out of here last time I baled, and unfortunately, it's another decision. I didn't do it right away, and then I forgot. So you want to get all that stuff out of here, but I'm going to take the time, even though I'm in a hurry today, I'm going to take the time to make sure all this is greased well and cleaned, because if these nodders don't work, man, is it a frustrating time to bale. We want this stuff to work smoothly. These things don't take much grease. I'm always amazed at this piece of equipment when I just think about all the little pieces and parts and springs and cogs and gears and wheels and everything that has to be timed just perfectly. And I've never had to time this, and I hope I never do, because it's a tricky process. But you know, every single little thing here works in conjunction with one another. Once the bale gets to the right size based on this counter, you know, everything releases, the needles come up, this little bill hook grabs the baling twine in here and pulls it over onto a cutter, cuts the twine and ties it, and then, you know, releases it. And sometimes the twine gets caught on the little hook and doesn't release the knot. Sometimes it doesn't cut, and then you end up with a real long string. Sometimes, you know, there's lots of little things that could happen. Most of the time that's what happens in here, but I'm hoping this runs smooth today for 100 bales for me, so that I can just crank through this and get this job done before the rain comes. All right, time to make some more little decisions here. I think that my best hay is out in the back field, back around the corner there. And so I'm gonna follow this outside windrow and start out there and get that area done, drop the bales in the field, and then I'm gonna come back with my truck and possibly a hay wagon I may show you guys, and we'll see if I can collect these bales. So it's 10:21 right now. Storms are supposed to start at 12:30 is what the weather thing says. We'll see what happens here. Let's get out here and bale some hay. Well, we made our first lap around. I went around all 3 fields all together in one big loop, and then I'm gonna focus right out here. It started running good, and so I didn't want to turn. And the thing with this baler is it just doesn't like this greener hay. You know, the string is tighter. I gotta really mess with these tensioners. I've had to tie quite a few bales, but now I think I got it dialed in, and we're making some good knots here. So we're just gonna try to run it. Running the tractor a little quicker than I normally would, just because these windrows are pretty small. But it's 11 o'clock right now. It gives me an hour and a half to bale all the rest of this and collect it all, which I don't think is gonna happen. So I'm gonna get this done out here and come around with the truck and collect everything I have, and then we'll see what the weather looks like. The backfield is done, and then one loop around the rest of the fields here. So I'm gonna collect and then see if I got enough time before the storm comes to finish the rest and collect it. So I bought this hay wagon earlier this year from Shiawassee Hobby Farmer, who's got a YouTube channel. So check him out. He's done some hay and some other things, and he's got a cool little hobby farm going. So this was meant to be rebuilt this year, but I haven't had time yet. Rather than using a lawn trailer, which is what I've been using to collect all this hay, I'd like to actually have a hay wagon. So it's in pretty bad shape, but I got a good deal on it, and it just needs a new deck. So everything else is pretty functional on it. It might need some tire work and things like that, which pretty common with hay wagons. They can just put any tire on them pretty much that you can find, so it's not too expensive. But decking's going to cost a little bit of money, and so, but I think for today, I don't know, you think I can throw a few bales of hay on there before it falls apart entirely? I think I might be able to.
Are they?
Okay, Kayla, go ahead. Most of them are out in the big field.
Are we going over here?
Yeah, all the way around the field.
All the way to...
That's good. Don't step there.
This is really awkward. Okay, how do I turn it off?
Dang it. They said 12:30. It's not even 12 o'clock. It's raining. Tractors out there, balers out there getting wet. I don't have anywhere to put it. Oh, my compressor's out here too. Well, we almost made it. If we would have had, man, maybe an extra 60 minutes, 90 minutes, I probably could have baled the last of this field and maybe collected it in time. I don't know. It's too bad. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's supposed to rain for the next 3 days, off and on, thunderstorms, and this is just a soaking rain. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll just have to rake that all off the field, or if I can try to salvage it in a few days by just raking it dry. We'll see. But we got about half of it in. There's about 35, maybe 40 bales here that we got off the field. And sometimes it's just the way it is. You know, we make decisions. I've made a lot of decisions over the past couple years, starting this farm, starting this homestead, whatever you want to call it, this farm, and made a lot of good decisions, made a lot of bad decisions. And some things fail, some things work out great. And you just don't look back. You just keep moving forward, and you learn from each decision. And you know, my wife and I are always trying to make things fail-proof. You know, we're like, man, let's just make something that that can't fail. And I'm not sure it's possible. You know, we make decisions on the best information we have available. Sometimes the best information I have is the Weather Channel or AccuWeather or whatever. And more often than not, it is just dead wrong. And there's nothing I can do about that. I can't predict the weather. I can't I can't know when it's going to rain. I can guess, but I'll never know for sure. So, but I think we've got enough hay. You can see a lot of our first cutting in the barn here. This is real stemmy hay. You know, we had to cut so late this year because of all the water and all the wet and all the rain. The hay, the first cutting isn't that great, but it'll work. It'll get us through the winter with our horses and our surprise animal that'll be coming next week. And our pasture pigs, they'll eat a lot of this hay too. They'll eat this green stuff, even if it's molded a little bit. The pigs don't really care. So a lot of this stuff I'll save back, and the pigs will eat it up. It doesn't seem to affect them. The horses, if I give them this stuff, it'll lay them out. They'll be sick. The goats, it doesn't really bother too much, but pigs will eat it. So in fact, I think they probably like it better for some reason. But hopefully you enjoyed the race to get the hay in the barn today. Probably the worst thing about this whole thing is that my tractor and my baler are stuck out in the rain right now, and I never like to leave that equipment out in the weather. What a bummer. That's a bummer. So, but it'll dry out. We'll get it in the barn and get it dried out. But I hate it when stuff gets wet, equipment like that. So, as always, guys, don't forget to hit thumbs up on today's video if you enjoyed watching me try to make some hay before it rained. And let me know what you guys think. If you're out there and you farmed before, you know, weather and just any decision. They affect every little decision we make every single day affects us in some way. And farming is no different. It's just every little decision has bigger consequences, I think. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.